recording. Can you imagine? Like, it could happen. Like, it's a big bright red button. So I think it would be obvious. But can you imagine if we just sat here and did a whole episode and just never hit the button?
I think that happened once, didn't it?
No.
Or it broke up halfway through or something.
The video did, but we still had the audio. So I had to merge. But
am I a mono? Or is it my headphones?
you should be stereo, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Unplug. But we're back after a couple of weeks, huh?
Little break. And the funny thing is, we're recording on a holiday.
Yeah.
So it's like we missed for kids sports and whatnot. But Easter actual Sunday, we're out here.
Yeah, can you turn me up just a little bit, if you don't mind? Man, I got to get me some new headphones. I think they're just kicking the bucket. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like some weeks they'll work just fine, and then other weeks it's not working. I don't know.
Intermittent failure.
Yeah, but they're what, 2.5 years old, 3 years old, something like that.
I mean, that's about how they go.
Maybe a little more.
These are my expensive ones I use when I'm playing on stage. So I've had these a few years.
Well, that's what these are.
Okay.
They're not. I won't say they're expensive. They're probably about $150.
They should last longer than 2.5 years, unless you're just wearing them out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't take the best care of them.
Oh, that'll do it.
So, I mean, I do just kind of roll them up.
So apparently you had a bad cigar.
Yeah, a bad cigar.
Not the one you're smoking right now, but you had a bad one.
And I'm not even going to say the name because it's one that I regularly smoke.
Oh, okay.
Do you have your cutter? My cutter is gone to crap. I'm not even going to say the name, but it's one that I smoke regularly. And I cut it like so, and it was a flush cut. I don't know where my camera is. And you can see how, you can't really see, it's dark in here, but the tobacco should be the same color. This one had a leaf inside of it that was black. And I lit that sucker up, and the smoke was black. I took one puff of it, and I was like, nope. Not doing that.
Black smokes.
And I don't know, I thought maybe it was like a fungus inside of the tobacco, because that does happen and can happen, but it wasn't on the surface. The cigar was super clean. I mean, there was no breaks in the outer leaf, whatever this part is called. We have our thing over there. But it just didn't taste right. And I was like, yeah. It kind of made me mad, though, because it was like a $12 stick. And I realize in the game of cigars, it's not super expensive, but
You still want it to work.
well, yeah, because then you got to either commit. It tasted bad, too. Like, the flavor was not good. The smoke was bad. The aroma was awful on it. And even my wife, who was sitting right there next to me, who doesn't mind the smell, was like, yeah, that smells bad.
We're twinsies today, though. La Roma de Cuba.
Yep.
So I was buying some of these, restocking the old humidor this past weekend. And last weekend, my wife was in Vegas with some girlfriends on a girls' trip. And one of her friends likes to smoke cigars. So that's cool. You know, usually, not always, hear me out. But you line up a room full of cigar smokers, and I'm going to say at least 80% are going to be men.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe higher than that. But let's just say it's mostly a man thing. So she smokes cigars. She bought one of these, a La Roma de Cuba, on Fremont, which is old Vegas, downtown Vegas. $42.
Ouch.
For a $11.99, $12.99 usually?
Yeah.
These? Yeah.
I bought this at Specs. And the only reason I bought
Me
La
too.
Roma de Cuba is...
These probably grew in the field together.
Probably. Cheers.
You're back together.
And the only reason
Been
I
watching
bought
too
it...
many animated movies.
Yeah, you have been.
Now the cigars are talking.
The only reason I bought it is because the stick that I had been buying is from there as well.
Okay.
But I knew that this one was going to be consistent.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? After the bad experience, I'm going to buy that. So I had an experience this week that I don't think I've ever experienced. My first period class is, generally speaking, over my history of the current district I'm at, is girls, because that's when boys athletics is going on.
Okay.
Okay. This year, I have a group of young ladies that are very, very, very bright, like extremely bright. We have good conversations. The lecture series go really well because they ask good questions. And so one of my students, I'm walking by, I'm like, "Oh, you're drinking regular milk today?" She was like, "Yeah, I got vanilla milk." I was like,
Never heard it called that.
"What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's vanilla milk." And I'm like, "Hold on.
That's not what you call it.
Why are you calling it vanilla milk?" She's like, "Well, you know." And I'm like, "No." And so her little friend sitting next to her, and she's like, "Why are you calling it that? That's just regular white milk. It's regular milk from the cafeteria." She's like, "Yeah, vanilla milk." She's like, "There's vanilla and there's chocolate." And I'm like, "No." So I called the attention to the class, and I do this regularly whenever they say something that's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, by a show of hands, what do you call this milk? Vanilla or white milk or just regular milk? And I would say it was more than 50% of the people in that classroom were like, "Yeah, that's vanilla milk."
Gen Alpha.
I'm like, holy cow.
But there is a vanilla milk. You can get vanilla flavored milk.
But does that come in a blue carton?
No. Like what she had at school was so the blue carton was the 2%.
Yes.
Red
is whole milk.
She had, regular old milk, but I know I have seen vanilla milk on the shelves. That's interesting.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, that's just regular old white milk. There's no...
She didn't April Fool's you?
No, I hate April Fools, by the way. I hate it. I hate it with every part of my being.
I can see that being a school teacher.
Because, like, I let it be known, too, early in the day, hey, the day before, if we have them, I'm like, hey, no April Fool's jokes in here. I'm not going to play any on you.
Yep.
You're not going to play any on me. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I'm the no fun guy today.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that stuff is funny.
Yep.
I don't think that stuff is cute. Because typically someone's feelings get hurt.
It had zero effect on me except I was scrolling a couple things. I remember scrolling in one of my Vegas groups. There was a post in there that said Vegas resorts are going to start charging $28 a night for air conditioning, climate convenience fee. And like these people are going insanely mad. People hate, we talked about this before about how much people hate the resort fees.
Right. Yeah.
And like, so any type of fee, they just jump all over it. And my only comment was not to say, hey, this is fake, it's April Fool's. I just said, if you're gullible, today's a good day to stay off the internet. And April Fool's, if you're gullible, is a great day to stay off the internet.
That's fact.
But then, like when we got home, one of my little boys, my 7-year-old, said, "Hey, Dad, your shoe's untied. April Fool's." They're doing it because we did not do it in the morning. Didn't say anything to him at all. So when they got to school, obviously they figured out it was April Fool's and had some jokes for us. But
I just don't.
I can't imagine the chaos of being a school teacher.
Like in the middle school, it's probably a little bit easier, but the high schoolers take it way too far.
Yeah,
like it's savage.
Yeah,
like one year I had a kid. This was not this year, but one year I had a kid like go into this whole story about how his parents got a divorce. And I'm like, man, I'm so sorry that happened. Like, why would you use your parents getting a divorce as an April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just kidding, April Fool's. I'm like, that's not funny.
That's not April Fool's. It's not how it works.
This is not April Fool's. I almost saw a lady die on the highway.
Oh.
We're driving back. This is one of the main roads coming from Terrell to Roy City. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right there before you turn in going into Poetry. And up in the distance, I see a person pull over. Lady hops out. She opens her trunk, and it's full, like kids stuff full. And there's a utility truck in front of us. It looked like one of those tire, like repair trucks that has like the winch on it. So it's a big utility truck.
Yeah. And
we're going 74 because I just happened to look over at how fast my wife was going because I'm like, hey, if this person need help or what, that's kind of where my brain went. And a cup flies out of the back of her car and blows it into the road. And she goes to grab that cup. No. And I don't know how exactly close that truck was, but you could feel that guy's butthole pucker
man
from behind us because he slammed on his brakes. And I don't think it was that close because she wasn't like shaken by it. But I promise you he was because she was going to go get that cup. And it was a Taco Casa cup.
Oh, no.
It was a Taco Casa plastic cup.
Maybe she just didn't want to litter.
But I literally thought, I looked over at my wife. I'm like, that lady almost died for a Taco Casa plastic cup. Because there was no stopping that truck.
Yeah.
There was no stopping it. He was not going to stop.
Gosh, I wonder if that's just if that was just a involuntary reaction, like something blew away.
I 100%
go grab it real quick. I hope so.
I think so because of her reaction. She was like, "Oh, I got to go get that," and then she was like,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm in
I
the middle
can't
of the
do
road.
through that." Yeah, like, oh, and you know these two-lane roads around here. This one has a wide shoulder.
Mhm.
I don't remember the name of it. It's the one that goes from Terrell to Quinlan.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's at a wide shoulder,
Mhm.
and she was way off over into it. But she took a solid 3 steps
Mm.
towards the road
Mm.
before I was like, "Oh my goodness!
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness!" Okay, one other thing, you're a boss of people. In
I saw what you put down.
in the modern world, your employees can see when you look at something,
Yeah.
especially if it's a document that you create.
Oh, because you're using like Google stuff.
Google Slides,
Yeah,
Google
yeah,
Docs. I'm sure you can do this. It's a collaborative document that I create or said employee creates. Please tell me that when you ask for it and it's an emergency, it's after hours or right before hours, and you ask for it, employee gets it to you, and then you don't look at it for 6 days.
Mm.
That frustrates me.
So when I saw you put that down on there, I'm like, I'm guilty of that. I ask for stuff all the time, and it's like calculation type stuff, pulling reports type stuff.
That's what this was.
And sometimes, I never know what their workload necessarily is when I ask for it. And I'm like, hey, this is not a huge rush. I just need this. And that's why I should never say that, because not a huge rush means different things to different people. I'm like, don't drop what you're doing right now, but I want it today.
Right.
So then if I don't have it, I wind up just doing it myself usually. And then they'll send it to me. And I never look at it because I've already figured it out or I've done it. But that's never a case where I'm like asking for something after hours or like saying, hey, I need this.
Yeah.
Like if that's the case, then yeah. That's
Yeah. I
don't have me do something after hours and then 6 days later is the first time you look at it.
This is an educational problem too. Like in education, it's my entire career. So this is not anything new.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we need that data by the end of today. I'm like, okay, I got you. I got it. And 99% of the time, I'm usually done with it anyways. So it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Like, or it's just something that either
You've
I
had to
forgot
pull
to
it
submit,
before or
or
stuff like
yeah. It's not that big a deal. But it's just like don't not look at it.
Yeah. And some of that sometimes, because I've been on the receiving end of that too, is when the person asking doesn't know the person they're asking it and they're giving too much margin. There are some
That's
people, if you need something 6 days from now, you got to tell them you need it today.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people, but there are some people that are like that. So I wonder sometimes if managers, bosses, supervisors, whatever, treat, their subordinates, whatever, people who work for them, like everybody, like they treat them all the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like if you tell me I need something right now, like I don't care what I'm in, I'll do 2 things at once, like whatever it takes. But some people may need those 6 days.
I'm usually the guy that
We probably
gets
both work with some people who need those 6 days.
Yes, I agree. I can concur with that statement. But I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm usually the guy I'm already done it. If I haven't finished it yet, I'll complete it real quick and then send it to you.
Yeah.
So that frustrates me.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with protein being in everything?
No, I just noticed.
Okay,
Have you not noticed it? I
didn't know if this was going to be a Jim Jeans situation.
Dude, I saw so much more of it too. Like, and somebody brought it up. I was talking to, they're like, maybe they just don't want to like go through the trouble of change. I'm like, listen, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not saying it's an issue or I don't like it. I'm just saying I'm noticing it more. And this past week, man, I felt like everybody. I saw a dude. I took my son to soccer practice and they play on the turf football field.
Okay.
And so I was getting some laps in while he was practicing. There's a couple of dudes running in jeans. And I'm like, I mean, I guess.
Okay, are they jogger jeans? Like,
No,
do they look
no.
They're actual
They're
jeans?
just jeans.
Okay.
Just jeans. And they're out there running around the track in them. I'm like, man, I'm different.
I don't think that's different. I think that's probably.
Won't that be the funny thing if we're like our generation when we're like old men is known for that? Like, y'all need to wear more basketball shorts. Complete flip and opposite.
Yeah.
You know, the older generation above us like did everything in like nicer clothes, and we're like, why don't you just wear some basketball shorts and a t-shirt? I don't get it, but I saw a lot more of it, and I was like, I don't know.
Are you just paying attention to it?
Because I brought up on the pod, I saw more of it, or if RFK is having a real effect on people, or people just, hey, don't have to change to go work out.
Okay, so
I don't think it's that big a deal. Like I take my gym bag in the gym. I go into the locker room, put on my shorts and my t-shirt, hang up my jeans and my polo in the locker, shut it, go work out, come back, change, go back to work. Like
I don't have an explanation for you because I don't know.
I will say these guys are out there in like jeans and like they're not going back to a corporate office to work. I don't see anybody out there in their, golf polos.
That's fair.
And we've talked way more about this than I wanted to, but no, I'm just noticing protein and everything, and I think that's a RFK effect.
Yes.
And talking about the food pyramid and how, and like this is one of those things that I think technically Trump has done in his administration that I don't think you're seeing a lot of pushback from.
No,
because I think it makes sense to people. Like looking at the old food pyramid that had 6 to 11 servings of grain every day. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. To have that much bread and pasta.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Everybody knows that's not right. So when they flipped it and like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And it's just proven. You have people who are fitness conscious, health conscious, who know how important hitting a protein target is every day, eating protein over carbs and fats. Like, not that those are bad. And they know that regardless of who they vote for.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this is one of the few things that has come along with Trump that's like just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And like everybody's just kind of cool with it. Some people probably made fun of the food pyramid. Like I'm sure there's some, blue-haired liberals that made fun of it, whatever. But I think a lot of people, or at least people who are paying attention, saw that and said, no, that actually makes sense.
Well, and not only that, like you got to make people healthy.
But I wonder how it affects schools. Don't schools have to follow it?
That was part of the change that came along with it.
But that's more expensive.
It's not. It really hasn't been that big of an effect. I have noticed the portion sizes are more.
Okay.
But again, I live in an affluent district, so I don't know how much of an effect like independent districts have on their food intake. I do know that when I was at a very small school in East Texas, I mean, we talked about it, Miller Grove, they cooked a lot of things fresh. And I can't help but wonder if that changed, because this is probably like mid Obama's presidency, and I can't help but wonder if that changed.
Well,
over
because
time.
Michelle refined it, but
yeah.
Barbara Bush started it. Like this came out in H.W. Bush is his term when we got the first food pyramid, the very end of his presidential term. And like Barbara Bush had a thing. I don't remember. Laura Bush she was a school teacher, so she had some impact on education, but I think she was one of the few first ladies who didn't. All the first ladies seemed to care about school lunches. Like,
but you can't. The second W. Bush administration was No Child Left Behind.
Right, but I mean, even
talking about just food.
But I mean, like Laura Bush specifically, like a lot of first ladies seem to always have a school lunch like initiative, like even Melania does, and Michelle Obama did for sure. I don't remember that from Jill Biden. She was just trying to keep Joe on the moving forward. But Barbara Bush started it, so I don't know. I think it's cool. Like, I don't necessarily think like Doritos adding protein to their chips is like no.
Have you had those protein chips?
Nope.
They're not bad.
Okay,
they're not terrible,
but still, I just can't.
They're like protein packed chips, but they taste like a protein powder. Like it's just nacho flavored.
Yeah, you can tell like some people are I feel like a Chipotle is like, hey, this has been our game for a long time.
Yes.
Large protein portions, rice and beans, like healthy eating. You can go get a Chipotle bowl, you're good. But I feel like some people are like, oh, protein's all the jazz now, so we're trying to get in the game. So just this is when I say I'm not a nutritionist. I'll just caution people away from processed protein and just like good old Whole Foods.
Okay, so while we're hopping
Whole Foods
on
are good for you.
Make America Healthy again, I listened to the Rogan podcast with the plastics lady.
Yeah.
That terrifies me.
It's the second time, at least the second time
Yeah,
she's been
second-
on. Because I
second
heard
time.
the first time.
Yeah. And so like I was listening about like the amount of plastics that are in our
Yeah.
food and stuff like that. So I've been my family's not happy with me at the moment. We're eating off of glass plates.
Yeah, we got rid of them.
I got rid of I'm working on getting rid of the plastic. We have the plastic cutting board.
Yeah.
We have one or two that my wife uses when she's cutting meats because
Yeah.
we don't want to put that. We have a really nice butcher block one that
Yeah.
our friend made for us. I got it as an anniversary gift for her. And she uses that thing ad nauseum. Like it's all the time using that.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to cut raw meat on it. So I've ordered a titanium one and a glass
Some of the
one.
nylon ones are okay. They have a number on the back of them. You got I forget what it is. You can
Okay.
look it up. But
like we're eating on glass plates.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut back on like, some things are just inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But like I'm just really conscientious now of it.
Right.
Not saying that anybody who eats on plastic that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying like if we can make a minor adjustment.
Right.
Like there's a whole website for it. Like don't use dishwashing soap that's in a plastic container. Well, I looked yesterday and I can't find one. I couldn't find one.
It is hard.
I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
And then like anything like our coffee was the big one that she talked about, the coffee pods, like how it heats up the plastic and then the plastic leaks into the coffee. Then that hot water runs into your plastic cup or
Yep.
coffee cup and then you drink it and you ingest it.
Yep.
So this week I switched it back to our percolator. I'm like, I'll just get up 5 minutes earlier and make sure we make our coffee in the percolator. Cause
Yep.
man, like
We did all that. We used to go out of those because I meal prep for my lunches every week. And we would get those. There's a whole stack of them you can get at Costco. They're disposable plastic containers. Quit buying those a long time ago. Got rid of them, and now I have these glass, like meal prep containers that we bought a bunch of them, and we also from Costco and use those. But and also a big thing is like microwaving anything.
Yeah.
On plastic is a huge deal. But yeah, we try to get rid of it as much as we can.
But it goes back. I was thinking about it too, like the red dye situation, the dye situation. Like I was telling our kids, we generally eat healthy. Like not everything is healthy, but it's all within moderation. Like we had fried frog legs tonight, and then she baked some chicken, and we had baked beans and some air fried French fries. So like the frying of that little bitty frog leg was not super healthy, but like the preparation of that is in moderation.
Right.
Like she's not leaving it in the grease and it's super super fatty, and that's
you're
a
not
lean
eating it
meat.
every night either.
No, yeah, but it's just like if you can make a minor adjustment to where you're not like taking it out of the plastic container and putting it in a glass container to heat it up, like that makes a huge difference.
Right. We fought the battle a little bit because it's hard with little kids.
Oh yeah,
Our older kids are getting much better, obviously, and especially our middle daughter. She's 14 now. She's our one who will eat anything. We went out to Edo for some sushi the other night, and we just ordered too much, like we always do. We always order too many on rolls, and so we normally, she loves Asian food, and so we normally when we leave Edo, we'll say, hey, we want a chicken fried rice to go, and we'll take that home just for her, just because she loves it so much. I told my wife, I'm like, you got a bowl of fried rice there you haven't even touched barely, and we got these extra rolls. We'll just take that home because we're going right home right after.
right.
And so she'll eat anything. Like she loves sushi, all kinds of foods. She likes to cook. The little kids, it's harder on. So now because there's sometimes whenever I'll just make my own food. Like for them, like if it's spaghetti night because they want spaghetti, I don't eat it.
Yeah, that's what my wife does. She makes it for herself and our oldest.
Yeah. And so I'll eat something different on those nights, which is, you can think that's crazy, whatever. I don't care. But
I don't think that's crazy at all.
all we're starting to do now is like, okay, we're just talking with them when we're eating. And like we will, like they love Taco Bell. Like they love those Cantina chicken tacos.
Man, that's so
They're not horrible. Like they're, and it's not like every night, but every once in a while if they want Taco Bell, like we'll go get them some Taco Bell. And so that's kind of a thing we'll do. Like we'll run through Sonic with them or whatever. And they like Sonic. So we're just, instead of just saying, no, you can't do that, which I know, and I follow and know some people who do that with their kids. Now they started immediately. Like they were in that mindset when they had kids, and their kids have never known it.
Yeah.
All the way up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I don't know what they do when their kids go to like birthday parties and stuff, but maybe they're just whatever. But we are just talking to them about what's in the food. and like what processed food is, what whole foods are, protein, carbs, fat, what all that breaks down. So we're trying to educate them kind of around the dinner table about those things. And then as they kind of grow out of their little kid, I'm hoping they'll be like our older 3 kids and get to eating better food and, expand their palates a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think protein, everything is good.
I agree on all facets of that part.
Working out in jeans, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But,
just know the Cigar Politico is judging you if we see you working.
I kind of am.
I'm surprised that bothers you though. That like of all the things
it's just
that I've learned about you over the last year and a half, 2 years of doing this podcast, that's kind of that's one of the more shocking ones.
It doesn't technically bother me because like I'm not them. I just
That's true. That's true.
I just can't imagine sweating in jeans.
Oh man, I'll be so hot.
And maybe there's somebody who doesn't sweat.
Maybe.
But even like I was thinking about it, like when I do squats or deadlifts, I mean everything's out of my pockets. And I got on shorts. Like I cannot imagine doing squats or deadlift in jeans. I can't imagine it.
I don't know.
Like it all bunched up around your knees and stuff.
Nope.
Maybe it works like a wrap. Maybe it helps you give some spring, some support.
I don't know.
That would bug me so much. But I don't really care. Whatever they want to do. Hey, they're working out.
And
I should see the bright side of it.
Talking about judging people, I'm judging Major League Baseball umpires right now.
Oh man, that's good stuff, isn't it? Do you see that?
I did. Is it the ABS or the ADS?
ADS, Automated Decision System. So
54% overturned rate in the first 5 games of the season, and it's up to 58% as of yesterday. I looked. 52% in spring training. There's not a whole lot of bias.
No.
That's good, I suppose.
That is good. So, for instance, like it was 52% in spring training, 54 when I put this on the run sheet. What'd you say? It's
58.
Wow, so it's gone up.
It's gone up.
So, dadgum, man. Almost 6 out of every 10 calls.
Yep. But
are wrong.
Is it
almost 6 out of 10 that are challenged?
There you go.
Are wrong. But that's still a lot.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Because it should be, logic would say, is that it's actually more.
Yeah.
Because the players are taking a chance by challenging it.
Right. Well, and you swing and a miss.
There may be some that come by and you're like, I don't know, we're not going to challenge it, but it was still wrong.
Yeah.
So logically, the number should be higher than that. So 58% of calls are wrong. And like you said, it's not biased. It's across the board. It's not like, one team's getting a lot of different calls. AI's taking their jobs for sure. Right?
Yeah, 107. You put this in the first 5 games, 175 challenged calls, 94 overturned.
Yeah, just to put some perspective on that. It's not like we're talking about 20.
Yeah.
In the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah. And they had their first walk-off ADS win.
Yeah.
You see that? I think it was the Orioles.
Yeah, game's over. Yeah, it was the Orioles.
Over.
I was listening to that game.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a buddy of mine who loves baseball. He's an old school guy, but he likes this. And he was telling me, he was like, I think that they have to keep it the way it is for a while. Here's why. Because if you just put it in their ear, whether it's a ball or strike, you don't know if for sure there's transparency in these calls. The only way they could do it is if they put it up on the screen, you know? But that takes some of the pageantry away from the game. Like if the catcher calls it and he calls it and then the umpire gets up and is like, all right, we're going to the challenge screen. And then all the fans are engaged in looking at the screen. And then it's one way or the other. So I kind of like that. I kind of like the pageantry of the missed call or not. I like it. I like that part. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you're going to go away from, like, if you're going to an automated system, and that kind of takes away part of the game, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm ready to do that just yet.
I don't care. I want it to be accurate.
I know.
And I think any good fan has just like for NFL refs, you have just kind of a slight hatred for umpires and referees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
I just think that you're going to have they're going to still be back there. I just don't think they're going to be as reliable or relied on as much. Like I would like to see it maybe expanded in the playoffs in some form or fashion. I don't know how that would work exactly, because you get 2 challenges a game.
Yep.
and then maybe you get one an inning. Not 9 total, but you get 1 per inning.
Yeah.
Because that's when it really, really matters. Like those games really, really matter. And those balls and strikes do really, really matter.
Yeah. I feel like we're getting into a time where AI being used in these ways is actually useful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like if you would have tried this 3, 4, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
it would have been so wonky and glitchy and not accurate.
Yeah.
It would have been like, see, a computer can't do it. And then it would have been settled, right?
Yeah.
But now that AI is so good,
Yeah.
like talking about back to protein. So I use the macro tracker I use to track my meals and things has an AI option now. It's something they've added kind of recently, maybe a year or so, and there are different ones that have this. This is macro factor. It's pretty wide to use, but you can take a picture of your food and it'll tell you what it is and the macros in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is scaringly accurate.
Yeah.
So I made some chicken thighs and I knew what was in them because I made them and I had weighed them before. So I knew what they were. So I'm just going to check this thing out because I haven't used it that much because I'm like,
It's an app?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I took a picture of this thing. It got it within 2 grams of weight.
Wow.
It knew the seasonings on it.
Just by the picture.
Yes. These things are cooked. These are cooked chicken thighs that I've seasoned. And it's telling me like smoked paprika. I'm like, how in the heck did you know I put smoked paprika on this thing?
It's listening to you.
No, I didn't say it. I don't be like,
I heard you shake it on there.
Julia Childs in here, like, put some smoked paprika. I'm like, I'm not talking about it while I cook them. I just got the chicken thighs, put them on the black stone and seasoned them. Like maybe it's watching me. I don't have the meta glasses on, but I'm like, how the heck? Man, they had the spices down. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about measurements because I'm not measuring smoked paprika.
Right.
But it had it on there. And I'm like, how did you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's getting good. And it's getting scary good.
It's still wrong every once in a while. We got to give it, a little here and there, but it's
more like I saw a stat the other day and I don't remember exactly like what they were referring to as far as, but it was like a 92% accuracy rate.
Yeah. Well, and I heard someone describe AI like this the other day, especially ChatGPT and large language models like that. They're just really good research assistants.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like whatever it says goes, but like within reason, like this is reasonable and it gives you the links, and it's very useful. I like I've said before, I like being able to have the conversation if I'm working out an idea or a thought versus you just Google something and then like, okay, well, what about this? Well, you got a fresh Google.
Yeah.
But now with either Gemini with Google or
calling
ChatGPT.
Yeah. I agree with you.
You're just doing that whole like, okay, well, what about this? Well, okay, well, I have a question about this. Like you can have a whole almost conversation with the robot and it refines it and says like, yeah, but I do love how like encouraging ChatGPT is. Because if you ask a follow-up question, it'll be like, you're thinking in the right direction. Good job.
Good job. Yeah.
Like, I don't need that crap.
Well, I even have made assignments that are not AI friendly. Okay, I want you to help me write this question that they actually have to think through the process of looking at these documents that I'm giving you. Write a question that won't be able to be answered by AI without these documents in front of them.
Yeah.
And it does it. I mean, and like, I'm sure there's a way. I have really smart kids. So like, I'm sure there's a way that they can look at it and be like, hey, AI, help me with this. But I'm even telling them like, hey, I ran this through AI and I couldn't get it to answer the question properly because the information is coming directly from this document.
Mm-hmm.
And so not that this document is some crazy thing, but it's like a map or whatever, or a primary source. So like I'm using it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's very helpful.
It is. And I think the behind the plate umpires, I guess they'll always have to have behind the plate umpires because there's other calls that have to be made, balks and things like that. But yeah.
Definitely a job that's going to be taken by AI.
Balls and strikes for
sure. You know what's not going to be taken by AI? Well, maybe he needs to invest in this as Tiger Woods as a driver.
Tiger Woods needs a friend.
The question is how much money do you have to make before you never drive again?
It's not a horrible amount. There's people who are doing well that don't drive. But
well, for me, I would never drive at this exact moment because my wife drives everywhere we go.
Yeah. You're already there.
I'm already there, bud.
Some people like driving, I guess.
I don't like driving. I don't.
The meme was great. Best and worst driver in the same picture.
I gotta say though, like I watched the body cam footage.
This guy's been through some stuff.
Yeah,
man.
he has. Have you? Well, two things. One, have you seen his legs? Like there was a guy who was taking pictures of his legs, and I just can't imagine the pain that his legs are in from all the surgeries and walking as much as he did when he was a young man. But the body cam footage, I don't think I could have passed that. Like, did you watch it?
I listened to it.
They're making him go like this. I'm like, I can't even turn my hands over like this. And then they had him going like this. And then they had him go the other way. And I was like, what purpose does that? And then they were having him, I'm going to back away from the mic a little bit, but like hands in front of him at like a 90-degree angle. And they had him touching his chest like this. And then they would have him look up and then look down, look up and look down. And he's leaning against the car. So like, I don't know that I was watching it and I showed it to one of my coach buddies. I'm like, I'm not being funny, but do you think you could pass this right now?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And like they had him walk and it was the typical one where you're having to touch your nose or whatever. And to me, obviously I'm not a professional, but he didn't look inebriated in those videos.
Yeah. Puffy face.
I
think it was the puffy face. And then I don't know if it was at the scene or when they processed him, they found the hydrocodone in his pockets.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has a pill problem.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's had that many surgeries, like I'm not excusing it or making excuses for Tiger, but I think it's a common thing with anybody who's had that much medical work done.
Yeah.
And surgeries and an athlete has had that much pain. I put on the run sheet, Tiger needs a good friend. That's before he said he was stepping away and going to get some help. So I've seen a lot of people applaud that.
Well, and he said the judge granted him the ability to leave the country. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the right move.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get away. If you're trying to really recover, I always, whenever I think about people trying to recover, my mind automatically goes back to Dirk.
Yeah.
Like, especially when they're in some sort of legal trouble, when he went with his, like that girl was, you remember that?
Yeah.
He was engaged and then like his people stepped in and was like, hey, she's fraud. And then he investigated her and she turns out like, and he disappeared for 6 straight months. The season ended and he went to Australia.
Yep.
And he literally lived in the bush from September until, or well, what month is it now? May, almost May. He lived in the bush from May because they didn't make the playoffs that year. He went there in May and he was there until almost the end of July.
Wow.
And he came to camp late. I remember that because they were like, is Dirk going to show up? You know, because nobody knew where he was. And this was the time before social media as big as it is now. But that's what I think of, like, when they go away like that. Because, like, he obviously needed to kind of find himself. Because they had just lost in the finals. And then, you know, obviously his fiance, who he had proposed to, was living in his house. Was crazy.
Speaking of basketball players moving away, are you following the Jaden Ivey story?
I am.
I don't follow basketball. Everybody who listens to the podcast knows that. So I saw this because of the, current event story that it is, not a basketball story necessarily of a player getting waived or cut, but the reason why the player was waived or cut. And I looked up some of the stuff he posted, and like, to me, I didn't see anything like worth waiving or cutting a player, but it's not an exhaustive search.
I was in the same boat. I also saw lots of more conservative groups calling on the left groups like, hey, he stood up for what he believes in.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like to me.
And also, I'm looking at this through the lenses of being a Christian myself. And so, but
it's if that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
And he hasn't backed down from his stance at all, not even a little bit. And like, he was one of the better young players on that team and in the league. So it's not like he's just a scrub.
Is it a locker room issue? Do you think other players came up and said, hey, we can't play with this guy. We're not going to if you don't?
I mean, that stuff kind of...
That seems like that would be the only thing. I'm not giving ownership an excuse, but that seems like that would be the only thing that would make them cut him for what I've seen that he posted.
But why not wait till the season ends and just bench him? I mean, but then you're having to answer questions of why he's not playing.
That, and I think they wanted their day in the sun of saying,
That's possible.
Look what we did.
That's possible.
You know,
But the winds of culture right now are not in their favor.
They're not.
So I don't know why you would do that right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a whole, like there has to be, I'm missing something. Like this is one of those stories where I don't necessarily agree with the reason that they gave out why he cut, but there seems to be more to the story. And I just keep waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yep.
Because then I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was that and this, or, you know, I don't know. I just keep waiting for that because they got him on the terminology of like detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
So I guess that falls in that category. But like Daniel Gafford came out, like somebody asked him about it, and he was like, you know, like I agree with what Jaden said, but that's about all I'm going to say because, you know, it's the time we live in, and, you know, talked about faith and how it's a, you know, it's an ongoing battle and stuff like that. But also Daniel Gafford plays in Dallas.
Not in Chicago.
Not in Chicago. You know, so there is a difference there.
You just think about like what's the dude who married himself? Dennis Rodman. And like the Ron Artest and like some of these guys that have done some really crazy things and not been cut. Both of those guys played for the Bulls, right?
I don't think Artest did. I think he played for the Pistons and the Lakers.
All right. Well, I don't follow basketball.
But you're not
like
wrong.
The Bulls were cool with Dennis Rodman, but not this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a totally different generation also.
Yeah, that's fair too.
But like, what?
But also Dennis Rodman was the best at his craft. And they were winning, and Jordan kind of managed that. And we saw that in the documentary. Yeah. Like Jordan managed him very well. And I think a lot of the stuff, I even think that there's probably more than what they put in The Last Dance that ESPN and 30 for 30 did. I think there's probably more that you don't even know. We don't even know.
Yeah.
Because the story they tell about him going to Vegas, I can promise you that was not the only time that he went to Vegas. Yeah. Because that's a wild. If you haven't seen it, it's a great show. Last Dance. I've watched it a couple times.
I mean, what the person who doesn't follow basketball on the podcast thinks it had to be the players coming and saying, we're not going to play with him.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Maybe he stole Kit Kats.
Well, there's a Kit Kat tracker if you did steal Kit Kats. So I forget the number. I should have put it on there. A lot of Kit Kats, like a truckload of Kit Kats. Like,
it was over $1 million worth of Kit Kats.
Really like Kit Kats. But apparently, if you get a Kit Kat and you suspect it may be a stolen Kit Kat, maybe a guy walks up to you on the street with a trench coat on, and he opens his trench coat and it's just Kit Kats.
But apparently they're like some kind of race car Kit Kats.
And you can look up the serial number or the UPC or whatever on it and see if it's one of the stolen ones.
I did have a Kit Kat, and I did plug it in, and thank the Lord it was not stolen.
You had a legitimate Kit Kat. Like, where are they going to sell these things?
The black market, apparently.
There's a black market for Kit Kats?
I guess. I mean, why would anybody steal a truckload of Kit Kats?
I know. Like, I fully concede that there are people who know more about the Kit Kat market than I do. But when I heard about this, I was like, well, aren't those things like $1.50? Like,
in this economy, they're $3.
Okay. Well,
hey, maybe they're the Kit Kats that had the Viagra in it. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
There was cross-contamination of chocolates, and they accidentally put Viagra in.
They're making Viagra in the same factories they're making the Kit Kats?
I don't know, but there was some sort of cross-contamination. I don't know if it's
Can
Kit
we not
Kats.
have separate buildings for Viagra and Kit Kats? Like, come on, man.
That's a hard reach there, Clint. I don't know. But there was
what else is being made in the Viagra factory?
No.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
But apparently there was some chocolate that had been cross-contaminated with some Viagra.
So now there's chocolate Viagra?
Apparently they're like spicy cubes. I don't know. I didn't go deep down that rabbit hole. Yeah. It just came across my feed at the bottom, and it was like recall on some certain chocolate bars because it had been cross-contaminated.
We really did peak in the 90s, didn't we? This is not getting better. It is not getting better.
Oh, we live in a hard time, you know?
Yep.
Speaking about going a long way.
It's a bad day for flat earthers. It's a bad day for flat earthers and moon deniers.
Yeah. Artemis II. I was going to say this when we started, but I was holding this joke. But that would have been the best April Fool's joke on the planet.
Can you imagine?
If they're like 3, 2, 1, April Fools. We're not going. It's a bit.
Yeah, I just love the conspiracy theorists out there. Like, why else would they launch on April 1st? Because it's a pretty small window of when you can hit the moon.
Yeah, and the weather was
fuel
perfect
that you can carry on board.
I think we should have had a bigger deal made of this.
I'd agree. Like I watched. Like I had somewhere to be Wednesday night, and I was like, I'll be there after the launch.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't stop that much, but I did pull it up on my phone and watched it.
We watched it on the TV. We got the kids and everything, and I think it's really cool.
Here's my thought on that. First off, I think it's fantastic that we should go back, and I think we should land on the moon. I think we should put the money into that.
Yeah.
There's just so much what's the word I'm looking for? There's so much technology that goes into that, and there's so much just pride, American pride that goes into, hey, we landed on the moon, we saw it. I just think that there's so much that goes into it, and the videos that came out of it, of like the airplanes, being that are in the air and watching it go up into outer space, watching it go into orbit. I just feel like we should have done a much better job of being able to promote that. Also, I wonder too if we're just living in so many generational times, like so many generational things are happening since COVID, really. Well, since 9/11, so many things happen all the time that are first in 50 years or half a century or first in whatever, that we forget to kind of pause and take the moment and just like watch it, because it's like, that is amazing what they were able to do.
Yeah. When the Apollo missions went up, they talked about someday all of this computing ability, all the computers that ran Apollo will be able to fit in one room.
Yep.
Now, when you look at that computing ability, what you're holding in your hand right now has 50 times the computing ability of the computers that sent Apollo to the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you think about that only 50 years later, that's pretty crazy.
We have more technology in this room than they have.
Oh, yes.
They had in that to do all the calculations and whatnot. Okay, so I have a question for you. This is a gambling question.
Okay,
so I took I gambled on the Mavs game. I took the over for Cooper. He hit it. I took the over for Luke Kennard of 3-point makes, and he's at 1. So do I take the early payout? I'm only going to win $20, and right now I'm at 15 if I take the early payout.
Yeah.
There's only 2 minutes left. All right, I'm doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Went away?
It went away.
Should have just done it.
Hold on, let's try again.
Don't think, Mav, just do.
Well, if he makes another 3, he's already at 1. He only has to
But you
get
only have
2.
2 minutes left?
A minute 17 left to get one more 3s. One more. He's got to make 1. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. I've hit 3 in a row. I gambled on some baseball. I gambled on a basketball game. And then I gambled on a soccer game that I didn't even know what I was watching. And I was like, ooh, I bet he'll get 2 more touches.
Yeah.
And he did.
I've won on soccer. I won on NASCAR, like laps led. There's some weird stuff you can do out there for degenerate gamblers like we are.
Pause. I am not a degenerate gambler. I'm just gambling with house money right now because they had a free pick. And I've hit a couple of times to get on top of it.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. No, I think also with Artemis, like we talk about the coolness of going to the moon and all the things that I remember listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson on Rogan one time, and he talked about how the original Apollo missions and space travel are what had us invent both the MRI and the microwave. Mm-hmm. Like
Bluetooth technology.
Yeah. All of that came from space travel. Like all these things we use today, we learned how to do those things because we were going to space.
Well, this right here, this jet, like that's a simple jet engine. I mean, obviously it's much more powerful, but just the ability to launch that flame.
Burn fuel. But also, there are other countries who don't like us as much, or we really don't like them as much, who also have the capability to get to the moon, like China.
Yep.
And so, if we lose our moon landing and moon going capability, and China has that ability, then we're at a disadvantage.
I'm surprised Elon hasn't gone. Like, I'm surprised SpaceX has not gone to the moon.
I mean, he's trying to go to Mars.
I know, but why not the moon first? Because it's my understanding that he wants to get there, but the window to go to Mars is much smaller.
Yeah.
So why not go to the moon and have that as a larger window to launch?
I don't know if he's ever. I'm sure he's been asked, but I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if it's because it's already been done and he wants to be a pioneer.
Okay, that's fair.
That,
But like the window to go to Mars
or
is
like
coming.
what is the other? What is the better reason to go to Mars? I know one thing. His plan for Mars is to terraform it so it creates an atmosphere.
Right.
An actual planetary atmosphere. Like that's lofty. And maybe you can't do that on the moon.
No, you cannot. Because it doesn't have an atmosphere at all. I do know that. I don't know a ton about astronomy, or what would that be?
Yeah, astronomy.
Okay. I don't know a ton about it, but I do know that the moon does not have an atmosphere,
Yeah.
which is why you can jump.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
I don't know.
Next
would
time we
think
have him on the pod, we'll ask him.
Yeah, friend of the show. We'll reach out to him.
Friend of the show.
We'll let you know. Talk about a guy that doesn't have to drive.
Yeah, he's a smart dude.
That man does not have to drive anywhere.
The Speaker of the House of Texas wants to annex part of New Mexico.
I saw that.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. And I don't know how I feel about it. Because then it would make the straight line of
I don't like
the
it.
counties.
I like the shape of Texas.
I
Y'all, you
do
got to
too.
change all the waffle makers.
that and let New Mexico be. We already tried to carve one part of Texas out last week, our last podcast.
We can give away Marshall, Texas. And maybe we add in like directly across from there into New Mexico County, and it just shifts
Oh.
like a Tetris model. Just one line moves over.
I don't like that idea though. I really don't.
No.
I think you just need to leave it alone because that's one of those things that like you're barking up a tree that doesn't need to be barked up.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to leave New Mexico, then they can pay state taxes, but we're not changing the state lines.
Right. Yeah. Just come here.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
And it doesn't like the reasoning that he gave.
I feel like there's something behind it.
Yeah.
Like the reason he gave, I'm like, okay, but maybe there's something else at play.
But I also wonder, like, what's the net positive of that?
Yeah.
So it's like you gave us this reason, which was very vague. I don't even remember what it was. It was like, I'm not even going to commit that to memory because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it just seems like with everything going on, you know, I mean, of course, the legislature's out of session right now. We don't have a session next year, not until 27. But maybe the next time we have Brent Money on, we can ask.
Well, and not only that, but like maybe he's looking for more conservative counties. You know, so you're going to take those New Mexico conservative counties. That's just a theory.
Just giving up on New Mexico.
I guess. I don't know.
But I did get some pushback on my hatred for Marshall, Texas, though.
Then those people have never been there before.
No, one of them's from there.
I firmly back your statements, though.
Yeah.
Did you get a text message, or was it a phone call, or just a conversation?
No, I ran into them at Buc-ee's. They're like, "Hey, what do you have against Marshall, Texas?" I'm like, "That's what I said. Have you been there?" They're like, "I'm from there," and I'm like, "Well, sorry." But you know, I told you what I have against it. I was quite clear,
Yes, but no bathrooms on the highway is a bad look.
line by line, and you know, I don't expect a lot from your McDonald's, but you need to step it up a little bit. And I don't understand, like, it's got to be more than oil. Like, Burroughs wanting to go annex. That was his reasoning. It was basically just oil. There's energy-rich counties right there in the same kind of area, West Texas, where we get our oil. I don't know. Is like New Mexico not getting that oil?
I can't think of when a state line has changed since 1854. That was in Oregon, in Washington, in Montana. That was the last time like state lines changed significantly. Yeah. And then as they were creating them across during the creation of the country, I can't imagine that would ever happen.
No.
That just seems to me like,
that's what I mean. Like I feel like it's one of those things where you're saying, just you're floating this idea out there to get somebody's attention for something else.
Yeah.
There's another reason behind this. That's my thing.
So what do you think about Costco suing the Trump administration?
Yeah, I mean, I expected it. There are lots of retailers that said they were going to sue because they have to get their tariff money back, if they even can. That's not settled. But then there's a group of probably Trump supporters, I would guess, that then sued Costco, said, hey, but you raised your prices because of these tariffs, and now if you get a refund on your tariffs, we want a refund on your raised prices.
It's a valid point.
I feel like this creates just a quagmire, to use that word in a different topic on the run sheet, of legal issues to try to figure this stuff out. Like, I don't think for a second any consumer is going to get any money back.
Absolutely not.
You know? So,
and I don't think the government's going to pay back those tariffs either.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a valid argument that's going to be made in court whenever Costco or other retailers try to come get their tariff money back. Now, the thing is, they have another leg to stand on because the tariffs are ruled unconstitutional and illegal. So, can they still get their money back just because, hey, you charged us an illegal fee? Like, you know, say you get a speeding ticket and the fine for that ticket is set in law being no more than $250, and the court comes and charges you $500. Yeah, you can go sue them and say, hey, the law says you can charge me up to $250 and you charge me more, so you charge me an illegal fee. I want my money back. That seems to make sense. But it does stink that all the consumers bore that burden with prices being raised. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to shake out. And I think it's honestly a bad look for Costco.
Yeah, and the court cases go right back into what I wanted to talk about too with the birthright court case. I don't really have a hard opinion on one way or the other. I do think, though, that the courts hearing these cases is extremely important because social media, this is one thing that social media is really good about. And C-SPAN has done it. I talk a lot about C-SPAN because I watch a lot of C-SPAN and listen to a lot of C-SPAN. But they're doing a great job of putting these things out there as it's happening live. Now, there's no video allowed.
Yeah.
But like Trump was at this one.
Yeah, first time ever.
First time ever a sitting president has gone and listened. I wondered what his reasoning was. He never really said. I didn't see like when he did interviews with the press, he did say that he was going to go and he was going to listen. I wonder if that's like Trump being, I don't feel like this was a power play. Like, I don't think he was there to bully because he knew there's no cameras there.
Yeah.
He knew that he could have gone in there and nobody would have ever known because there's no cameras allowed. But I think he's interested and he's curious about how this process works because I'm speaking for him, but I don't think he truly understands exactly the separation of the powers sometimes. Sometimes that area gets cloudy for him.
He didn't stay very long.
He did not. But people need to pay attention to these court cases because the opinions matter. Like, for example, in this one, one of the justices wrote an opinion in the thing that gave unborn citizens rights.
Yeah.
So does that now abolish abortion? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like they gave unborn citizens protections under the new law that's going to be written.
Yeah.
So yes, we lost the birth. Like yes, the Trump administration lost the birthright citizen as it stood in that particular executive order. But now the justices may have just accidentally or intentionally, I don't remember who wrote the opinion. It was a conservative judge, said that, basically unborn citizens have rights too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that is important to pay attention to. And I think that these court cases are going to set a precedent for a very, very long time. And when you think about immigration and you think about what and why they did this, it has a lot to do with the census so that they could adjust the immigration statuses or however they choose to do it.
Right.
They being the federal government and whoever's in office at the time the census is being run. But now it makes you ponder how are they going to adjust according to what the court came down. And this is what makes America so wonderful. I'm not going to say makes America great because it's a flawed system, but it's our system. And this is like the president can write laws and execute or not write laws, but he can do executive orders. But if the Congress isn't doing their job and writing laws, then it's the president's job to do executive orders, and then those executive orders can go to the Supreme Court for the balance of the power and the separation of the government.
There's still oversight. I don't think Trump is going to win. I think the reason he went, by the way, is to show that this matters a lot to him.
It does.
I think that's why he went. I don't think, like you say, I don't think it was some kind of power play like for the justices. I don't think they fear Trump at all.
And they shouldn't.
Right. They shouldn't. I don't think they do. I don't think it's Trump's Supreme Court, because I think based on listening to the arguments, I think Amy Coney Barrett and John Roberts are probably voting against Trump.
Yep.
Unless they were asking questions as more of like a devil's advocate type of approach.
Yep.
And kind of not letting, the way they feel get into it. And I saw we could lose it. We could lose it 6-3. We could, I don't know. And I say
it could go either way.
I say we, but like Trump's side and Trump's argument. But regardless of how they rule, it is ridiculous. Like birth tourism is a ridiculous thing.
I didn't even know that was a thing until they started talking about
even
it.
If it's not, like, say, and this doesn't happen a lot, right? Because you're not supposed to travel when you're close to having a baby. But sometimes people do, because there's a funeral or death in the family or something they have to travel for. And people will travel. So say you travel from any other country. Say you do get on a plane and fly, even though you're not supposed to. Like, so you have a relative in the States that passes away and you're here, and like you go into labor and your baby's born. But then you just go back to your home country.
Right.
Like, your child shouldn't be a citizen of the United States. Like, shouldn't be granted citizenship just because of that. So I think there's a really logical argument behind it. Now, I think...
Okay, hold on. Let's kind of break this down, unpack this a little bit, because we kind of glossed over the birth tourism thing.
Yeah.
There are countries that will allow you to travel if you're pregnant, just specifically to grant your child citizenship of the United States.
Yeah.
That happens. And I think the statistic he gave was in the early 2020s, so like 22 to 24, there were 2.5 million averaged citizens born under birth tourism.
Right.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's all on the East Coast most of the time.
And I think citizenship should matter. Like, I think it should be someone who wants to be a part of the country, and like, this needs to be your home country. And so birth tourism is a thing. Having a baby while you're here traveling for other reasons is a thing. But then, like, I will come down on, I guess, probably the more left side of it and say, if you're here illegally and you have a child, but you're here illegally and you've been here illegally and you're planning on staying here illegally and you're doing some kind of job, you're getting some kind of work, but you live here, you work here, whether or not you're paying taxes because you're either on the grid or off the grid. Now, people may not know this, but there is your personal tax return, the 1040, there is a 1040 non-resident. There is a 1040 for non-citizens. Because people earn money here, but they aren't a citizen, they still have to pay tax on that. Whether they're filing that or not, I don't know. I would imagine if you ask someone on the far right, they'd say, no, none of them are paying taxes, and somebody, but that's actually not true. I would be fine with like saying like, no, you came here, whether you came here legally or illegal. I would prefer you come here legally, but even if you came here illegally and you're living here and you're working here and your kids are going to go to school here, like, no, I think they're citizens. There's some that are trying to make the 14th Amendment clause subject to the laws there too, as meaning if you came here illegally, then you're not subject to the laws there too. And I don't think that's true. I think you can come here illegally and you're still like, driving to work and you're working and like you're basically living here as a citizen, but you came over illegally. I think your children can still be citizens.
I think
that gives you automatic citizenship. The thing is like it just can't be a black and white and/or thing. And some people want it to be, but like there has to be a path. There has to be a path. Like if you came here and you were here for 10 years working, and maybe you're getting paid cash and you're working under the table, fine, whatever. I'm not saying that's okay, but that's what you're doing. You're living here, you're working here, and you had children here. Like, I think it's okay to say they're citizens, and even though you came here illegally, we're going to give you a path. Because to say you're not doesn't fix the issue. Like, you can sit here and stand back on theory and principle all day long, but you're not going to fix anything with that. There has to be practical solutions to this.
Yeah. Well, then does that make it a citizenship? Does that make this problem a court problem to where we can't get people through the court system quick enough? Because that was the other issue. Was
the path has to be like there has to be an expedited path. Like, all right,
I think there's only 70 immigration courts across the country. I think that's about right.
And it can't be so punitive that they can't stand. Like some people are saying, all right, I'm fine with it. Just have them file tax returns going back 10 years and pay all the taxes if they didn't pay taxes.
That sounds ridiculous.
That's so punitive. Like no one can do that. Like no one is going to do this. That's not a solution. And I also think like that thinking and that kind of mindset that I just laid out is somewhat in the spirit of the law. Now, the 14th Amendment was for slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they did not come here voluntarily. Concede that point, right? They came here involuntarily, and we needed a path for them to have citizenship. So you have the 14th Amendment. Even if someone came here voluntarily, but they're not a natural born citizen, like I think that kind of is in the spirit of the 14th Amendment by giving them a pathway of being made a citizen.
Yeah.
So I think there should be some fine, there should be some penalty, and like everything you do from now on needs to be in. But like, hey, the way I come down on immigration is I don't care as much about illegal immigration for people who are coming here and working here and participating in their communities. I do like Trump's approach of deporting criminals when it comes to deporting illegal immigrants. And I know not all of them have been, but his focus in Trump 2.0 has been deporting criminals.
Yes.
And like, I'm 100% on board with that. But if you came here, even if you came here illegally, which is breaking the law, which technically makes you a criminal, conceding all those points. But if you came here and you're working here and living here and your kids are going to school here, like you are contributing to the society. Even if you're paying taxes or not, you are still contributing to society. We live in and I'll shut up here in a second.
No, you're good. You're good.
We live in an area of Texas with, hey, rates have changed this in the last year or so, but with a huge construction boom. I mean, there's brand new streets in my neighborhood right now and 20 houses going up in my neighborhood right now. Like a lot of that work is being performed by people who aren't here legally.
Right.
They are contributing to society by being here and working and contributing. So I have no issue with them having a different and more expedited path to citizenship.
I think this is a court issue, not the Supreme Court, but there are only a maximum of 75 immigration courts across the United States operated by the Department of Justice Executive Office. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even 2 per state.
It may be enough once the mess gets worked out, but for now, you got to get some pop-up shops here and there to get this stuff figured out.
And there's 600 judges across that employ 600 immigration judges to handle removal proceedings. Again, still not enough.
Yeah.
And so if we have a court problem, then we need to make sure that process of getting people here legally and being able to stay legally faster. And we've talked about this before, like it can take up to 10 years.
Yeah.
And if your work visa is only 6 months, then you have to go back.
Yep.
And that's financially, that's very, very difficult for a person like that. So then you're making them make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly how, like, I feel like if you've been, there was a commentator who was talking about Minneapolis specifically and how the immigrant groups that are there are just totally draining the system dry because they get onto food stamps and and Medicaid and Medicare or whatever, and they just totally suck that system dry. So if you're on that for a certain period of time, okay, I can see, let's get you on your feet, let's get you to this American dream that you came here for. But then also we have to make it easier and quicker to get the system to make it more, what's the word? I don't know. I'm struggling with words right now.
Expedite
more efficient. So that way you can get these people legalized
to actually solve the problem.
And quit saying, okay, let's just deport everyone. That's not possible.
It's not.
And the path that we were headed down, I think Big Tom has fixed some of that.
Yep.
Right. I think the TSA situation seems like it's going to be fixed hopefully sooner than later.
Right.
Okay. At least through the month of April, it's fixed. So that way when Congress does get back, maybe they can fix something. maybe do their job for once in their lives. But also, like, let's come to a solution to where we can have this fixed, because right now I don't see a solution.
I can be someone who will die on the hill of principle and black and white and right versus wrong. And on this issue, that's where I used to be. But what changed me somewhat is, let's just call it what it is. Like, this is a issue with Mexico and Central America.
Yes.
We don't have the problem with Canada. Okay.
Correct.
There are probably some. We don't have this. It's mainly a Mexico, Central America type problem. I'm not better than anyone in Mexico or Central America because I was born in the United States.
Correct.
Like that is something that was given to me by grace. Like, I had nothing to do with that. So just because I was actually born here, that doesn't make me a better person than them. If I was born in one of those poor, poverty, third world countries, and I knew I could do better for my family, my wife, and my kids by coming here, tell me I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you do the exact same thing.
And honestly, like, not trying to just put all the blame on the government, because that's certainly not what it is. It's a both and type of thing. But if you're telling me, hey, this process may take 10, 12, 15 years, or you can pay this guy to sneak you across, and you can start working now and make a better life for your wife and for your kids, give them a better opportunity, better schools, better everything. Tell me that you would stay in that country and not do that.
Well,
like, tell me what
guy would not do that.
Any man who has a problem with what I'm saying right now, tell me you wouldn't do that if you were born there. And otherwise, if you disagree with that, do you think you're better than them just because you were born here? Like, these are not.
I think you know the
questions.
answer to that question.
Yeah, and these aren't questions that you just answer on a whim. I'm saying just think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about, the grace that you were given by being born in this country versus that country. Put yourself in their shoes in that country and tell me you wouldn't do the same thing. And then if that's the case, sure, have a fine, have a penalty, have something that they need to work off for that benefit and get all their stuff straightened out. But there has to be an expedited path for people who want to be here. Like, that's the issue. Like, if somebody's just coming over here to give their kid American citizenship and that's the only reason they came over, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who come here and work here and contribute here and want to be in this country.
Yeah.
For the better opportunity it provides. That should be a different path and a better path. It's the number one issue in the country. It's the number one issue Trump ran on.
And it's so complicated.
Yeah.
And people want to make it, I mean, you just made very valid points, very great points. But it's not just simple. It's not just simple. And if you step outside, if you live in I don't know exactly the demographic of your neighborhood, but mine's pretty mixed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I've had several conversations, like my next door neighbor, like, are you okay? Like, I kind of got worried about you. There was I know he's a plumber and he, after several conversations, I wasn't just outright like, hey, are you an illegal immigrant? But like, hey, are you okay? Because like, I care about the well-being of the human that lives next door to me.
Yep.
And so, he was just on a job, but I didn't see him for like 3 weeks, and I didn't know exactly what his job was. And so when I finally saw him again, I was like, hey, I kind of got worried about you. He was like, oh, I'm okay. And, he doesn't speak that great of English, but we've been able to communicate. And he was like, thank you, because they had left their water on. And so I like went over and turned the water faucet off.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you left your water on. He's like, yeah, I was out of town for work. And he's a traveling plumber, so he travels a lot. And he was like, thank you for looking out, blah, blah, blah. But it just, if you sit and you just kind of dwell on that and you look around you at your surroundings, especially in the part of Texas that we live in, and you're just like, this can't happen if we just cut it off.
Yeah.
If you just go, hey, it's black and white, this is it. But that's not how it works.
No.
That's not how it works.
These are people. These are kids.
And they're humans.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go next?
It looks like it is Paxton's race to lose in the Senate seat in Texas. So kind of as predicted, we said way back when that Cornyn, he would need to win in the regular primary to have a shot. But if this goes to a runoff, the more tried and true, dyed in the wool, red or blue type of voters show up for runoffs, not your just run of the mill type voters. And those type of voters are going to vote Paxton over Cornyn. I've gone back and forth on which one would do better against Tallarico. Haven't seen much from Tallarico. Kind of surprised he's not out there fighting to both, but seems to be saving his money and his messaging until he knows who he's going against. Which
had a big push today. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it's coming up on May 20. The runoff's coming on May 26th. But that is a lot of time until you get to November still.
Yeah.
I'm not as worried about Tallarico. Again, this is a roller coaster that I'll just ride on, and you'll hear me say probably a different thing every time we have a podcast. But there have been times I'm like, not that guy. Then the last time we recorded or the time before that, I was like, this guy scares me. And now I'm like, I've seen some more stuff from him. And I'm like, I really think Ken Paxton could mop the floor with this guy.
Yeah.
They're going to have debate, at least one. I really think Ken Paxton will mop the floor with this guy. And I think he's peaked really early. I think he was new and novel, but I think his message is going to get old by the time we get to November. I think Ken Paxton will be our next U.S. Senator from Texas. I think Cornyn's going to lose, and I think he should, man. This guy, he has pull with John Thune, and he has pull with leadership. And so if you have, go get the SAVE Act passed, buddy. Get us a talking filibuster so we can get the SAVE Act. You haven't been able to do it. And I like how Paxton called him out. That is one thing I'll say. If you look at their ads, if you look at their messaging, Paxton is basically saying, hey, John Cornyn, you say we need to elect you because you have all of this influence in Washington. You can get President Trump's agenda done because you have this influence and this history and this tenure as a longstanding senator. Well, go get the SAVE Act. How come you can't get the SAVE Act done?
Yeah.
He's really calling him out for that. And he has a role to play in that. Whereas I heard a Cornyn ad against Paxton. Of course, it was a PAC, whatever, that was running it. But it was literally calling out different 10 commandments that Paxton had broken. And then it was like the voice of God reading the 10 commandments.
Yes,
saying,
I saw this one.
Yeah. And then at the end, it's like, I can't remember if it said don't vote for Paxton or vote for Cornyn. I think it said don't vote for Paxton because it never mentioned Cornyn. It's just a negative ad against Paxton. It was like, Paxton, oh, this commandment. Oh, Paxton broke it. This commandment, Paxton broke it. And it's like this big voice of God, don't vote for Paxton. I'm like, dude, that is trash, man. Well, I'm not a huge negative campaign guy anyway.
Yeah.
Some ads are like, okay, that needed to be said. Like, that's clever. That's thoughtful. Like, I have no problem with Paxton coming out against Cornyn because that is what you're being elected to do, is to get President Trump's agenda through in the Senate. So if Paxton wants to attack Cornyn for not doing that on the SAVE Act, that's the negative ad I can stand behind. But this whole Cornyn, calling Paxton out for his personal stuff, I don't know. I don't think Paxton's baggage is going to be too much when it's all said and done. That's the thing I go back and forth on. But I think Paxton gets the runoff, and I think Paxton beats Tallarico. I think it'll be a close one again. I don't know if it'll be as close as Robert Francis O'Rourke and Ted Cruz, but...
Well, I think Chuck Schumer saw Tallarico as a, hey, this is a boy from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks well. He doesn't have that honky tonk about him. He kind of connects. He's showing out really well.
Yeah.
The problem is he misjudged. I think that they're going to misjudge the actual people from Texas.
Yeah.
Because Tallarico he connects with those cities. He connects with, Houston, San Antonio, and to a certain aspect, Dallas. He
gets a lot of that more left-leaning woman in the suburbs too.
Yeah, but that's not the people who vote in Texas.
Yeah,
and that's the part that they're going to miss out on. And I think that that's what Chuck Schumer saw, and they're like, "Hey, we need to put all of our money into this guy."
Yeah,
because they're not going to vote. Neither Cornyn and Paxton were going to beat Crockett.
Yeah.
And so if we put all of our money in Tallarico, he at least has a fighting chance.
Right.
And I think in the long run, it's going to pan out to where, the negative ads against Tallarico are going to pull at the heartstrings of the bleeding hearts of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see that Tallarico did have a push today or this weekend for Easter. He was talking about how Jesus was a rebel and
Yeah.
flipped the tables, and that's kind of his kind of call to arms, I guess you will.
But I will say this. I think it's going to be up to Christians who support Paxton or who are going to vote for Paxton to call out Tallarico for his false words. I think Paxton can't go down that road.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you on that.
Paxton's got too much baggage.
He's got a lot of skeletons.
He's got a lot of skeletons and baggage for it. Like the minute he tries to say that, although he may be 100% right, that Tallarico is twisting scripture for his own purposes, he can't make that argument.
No.
He's going to have to go on politics, voting record, and what he can do in Washington versus what Tallarico wants to do, and then let other people make that argument for him.
Yes. This will be something we come back to. But before we hop into Iran, we're still talking Texas politics. Abbott put out his 5-point plan last week, and we talked about it a little bit, kind of glossed over. But I do have a question for you as a tax expert or the show tax expert. So I need you to explain to me the effects of removing school taxes. So part of that plan, you can maybe explain it a little more. How does this affect the local school districts?
Removing school taxes altogether?
Yeah,
I
so
imagine,
you mentioned last week about the property taxes and how we're talking about freezing them or just doing away with them after 5 years, and then also removing that burden of the district taxes. And I think you said it was only like 1%, maybe 2% of your tax burden, but I can't remember exactly what you said. But could you explain that to me?
School taxes, I believe, are capped at 1.54.
Okay.
In my district, it's 1.43.
Okay.
And so what the legislature has done in the past when they've increased the homestead exemption and those things, they have made up that with other money. So we have a surplus. We're taking in more money than we need. So as one of the ways to give that back to the taxpayer, they're increasing your homestead exemption, which lowers your school tax that you pay. But they're still giving schools the same amount of money.
Okay.
They're still making up that gap with other tax revenue that's coming in. The thing we started to discuss with Brent Money that's caused a problem with that is they're not affecting the tax base, which is not the money coming in, it's the value of all the homes.
Right.
Because schools can spend money on their bonds based on the total tax base, which is the total value of all the homes in their district, or all the properties, all the real estate properties in their district that they can tax. And so that has been reduced.
So the bond cap is going to have more of an effect.
They'll have to fix that. If they get rid of school tax, they would have to fix that completely.
Okay.
And I would hope they would fix it anyway in this next legislative session, because that's a big deal. It's keeping some schools from being able to build that have the money, but don't have it on paper.
Right.
So, if they get rid of school tax, then...
Can you explain that? Not on paper. I know what you mean, but
so much money. Oh wait, so
like when you're talking about that, when you're saying they don't have the money,
so
explain that, because I know what you mean, but
yeah,
I know this will be a question.
Say you have, this is gonna be really small numbers, but obviously it's much bigger for a school district. But say you have 100 homes, okay, and all of those homes are worth $300,000. Okay, so all of those homes' values together, all right, that $30 million or whatever,
right,
is the tax base.
Okay.
And so you take that tax base times the amount of money they can get from it, and that's what the school can use for their bond. This is a very simplistic, there's more factors that go into this calculation, but very simplistic look at schools can sell bonds, which give them capital to go build buildings, new schools.
Right.
Bonds that have already been approved, because that has to be approved by the voters first. When the legislature has increased the homestead exemption, it has reduced that bonding capacity. Because if you look on your property, any home, any property, not home, commercial properties too, you look on your property tax statement, it shows your assessed value. And for the school tax, it's lower because the homestead exemption lowers that.
Okay.
So for your city taxes, your county taxes, a hospital, a college, all of those things that you may pay property taxes for, will all have an assessed value of your home. That may be like we'll say $450,000. Okay, say that's the value of the home that you're paying taxes on for the county and city and everybody else. The homestead exemption is $140,000, so that knocks it down to $310,000.
Right.
So that makes all the values of all the different homes in the district, in the school district, they're less
Okay.
than, say, the county's able to tax or the
Right.
city's able to tax, because they don't get homestead exemption. Only schools do.
So that tax burden
So
is less.
the total value of all the properties in the district is actually lower for schools because of the homestead exemption.
Gotcha.
Because the homestead exemption lowers your value, which is great. Like, as a homeowner, the biggest tax percentage you pay in property taxes is your school tax. Like, so for that one to be lowered by $140,000, that's great. That's wonderful for the taxpayer. So what the legislature did is, like, obviously because the value's lower, the school's getting less money.
Right.
There's less money being paid in school taxes.
Right.
So the legislature said, we're going to make that up with franchise taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, all the other money the state gets, they have a surplus of. They're going to make up that burden of actual dollars for the school.
Okay.
What they did not fix is they didn't fix that the bonding calculation is based off that total value, not the actual dollars they get.
Gotcha.
So, like, our district where we live in passed a nearly $1 billion bond a few years ago, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And they're in the middle of building a massive high school. They had another middle school, a couple other elementary schools on that project. And so what they do is they don't immediately sell all, I'm just going to say it wasn't quite $1 billion, it's 980 something million. They don't just sell all $1 billion of the bonds all at once. They sell them as they need it. So
Right.
it's kind of like if you're building a house, like you need a little money to go do the dirt work, and a little money to build the foundation, a little for the framing and the exterior and the brick. And then you got the inside and the sheetrock and all the paint and the electrical and plumbing. And so they sell bonds as they need to do those things. Well, when the homestead exemption increased, that decreased their bonding capacity in the calculation, even though they have the money, because the state's making it up.
Right.
So they weren't able to sell more bonds or as many more bonds to get those projects going. So they had to slow them down.
And this is not a problem just in our local district. It's a problem across the board.
Anybody
that has a bond at the moment.
Yeah. And so when they did the homestead exemption, they increased it. I'm glad for the school district's sake that they said we're still going to make up the difference for the schools. We're not going to cut that money from the schools. But there's like this other calculation out to the side that they did not fix that needs to be fixed. So to answer your question, if they got rid of school taxes completely, they would have to do a fix for that, because then if you're not paying school taxes at all, that totally changes the bonding calculation and all that. So
yeah,
schools would be getting their money from other tax resources.
Yeah. Well, when I was listening back,
but
I just kept thinking, like, how are they going to fix that?
I think they only get rid of school taxes for primary residences. For properties that I think the plan is only to get rid of it for, like, your primary residence, which is the only type of property that gets a homestead exemption. If you have a commercial building, you don't get a homestead exemption on a commercial building.
Gotcha.
So whatever that building's valued at, you're paying school tax at that value.
Can the school bond money based on the commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all in there
It's
too.
all part of that calculation.
It's just, especially in a community like ours, the majority of the rooftops are all homes.
Yeah.
It's definitely
and the one that I work in too.
Yeah,
it's all
homes.
it's all homes.
Not very little commercial, but not a lot of commercial.
Yeah.
Properties. And so obviously the biggest swath of types of properties are primary residence homes.
Well, and as these vouchers and other types of educational systems start to pop up, it'll be interesting to see how that plays a role.
Yeah.
And like our local districts have opened up transfers. Some of them have. So that's going to be a way they can make up some of that income.
Yeah.
But not a ton of it. I mean, it's just a Band-Aid
right
till the next legislative session. Okay. So shifting gears to more international news. The conflict in Iran is still going on.
Yeah. I mean, we're 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
So still not anywhere near quagmire level. And it's slowed down a lot.
It has slowed down. Trump gave another ultimatum.
Trump's about ready to make it not slow down. But
yeah, his rhetoric is very strong.
Yeah.
Tuesday, April the 7th, he put the deadline as the day that the bridges and the power plants will go downhill if they don't open the Strait. Well, I'm not going to say exactly what he said because I don't speak that way. I don't like that word. But to quote Trump, you better effing open the Strait.
Yeah.
And that's what he put on Truth Social.
Yeah.
And that kind of rhetoric scares me, if I'm being honest. Not scares me for the conflict, but like, man, that's strong.
Yeah.
And you can't back down from that.
I can't find a direct or solid answer to why it's not open. Like if we've decimated their military and they don't have a navy anymore. I understand the mines are there, but
I thought we cleared those
as best we could.
Yeah.
But the mines have kind of always been there. So I believe it's because it's so close, they still have missile and drone capability.
Okay.
From what I've been able to look at, military people chime in, but I believe it's because the strait is so narrow, which what makes it a valuable, place for Iran to cover. They can still access it with drones, with missiles, and can still harass ships trying to get through there.
Well, there were planes shot down as well.
Yeah.
One was an F-15.
Yeah.
The other one was a Warthog. And then did you see they blew up a C-130? They landed two of them, picked up the guy, and then remotely destroyed it as they left.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting, cool. I don't want to say cool because fascinating, I guess, the technological advances of being able to do that.
Well, they also, a Black Hawk that was in the rescue mission went down, and they recovered from that.
Yeah.
So nobody's left. Everybody's been rescued. That happens. I mean, I believe that the action and the conflict in Iran is worth it. So I'm not opposed. Of course, it's not a good thing. I'm trying to use words here that are careful. I'm just saying, like, I think
I'm very neutral.
This is
on
what
it.
this is what
is that fair?
This is what war fighters go and do.
Yeah,
these types of things are like this. This legitimizes the type of conflict we're in. That they have the ability to do this.
Yes.
That they are war fighters are in danger.
Yes.
From this country. So, I do trust. Trump is Trump. I can kind of go back and forth on that. I trust Pete Hegseth.
Well, and I trust JD Vance and I trust Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
If this is Trump point one, I have a different opinion about this because I'm not sure. One, I don't think he would have stepped into this conflict in Trump point one.
Yeah.
I think Trump 2.0 is different.
Yeah.
I think with Tulsi Gabbard there, with Pete Hegseth there, Marco Rubio there, I think this is a different approach than what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important that we listen to the verbiage tomorrow during the press conference of what they say.
And Trump said, like, this will be over in weeks. Yeah. And I like hearing that, right? Do you listen to the Sean Ryan podcast?
Eclipse.
Yeah.
I
think this one.
So hold on. Here's the problem that I have with Sean Ryan. I think he does a great job of his podcast is fantastic. Okay. But one of the things that I've learned as a podcaster, we are a very, very small podcast comparison, but it's dead air. Like you'll be sitting there listening and it's like,
did it stop?
I'll be like,
yeah.
Okay. And what do you think about this? And then it's like 45 seconds of silence.
Yeah, especially if you're listening and not watching.
Yeah. And I'm like, you couldn't edit that out? Yeah. Like I know you can edit.
Yeah. We do some dead air editing.
But my point is, sorry, that was kind of a thing, but I go ahead and ask the questions you were going to ask.
I have not until this past week listened to a full Sean Ryan podcast. Like I said, because some of those things can get long.
They're like some are 4.5 hours.
I know, like Rogan's are long, but some of those are long. And like I said, there's a lot of dead air. It's sometimes a little hard to listen to. But I saw he interviewed Joe Kent, who was our counterterrorism director, who resigned very publicly and vocally against the Iran war, or conflict, whatever. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to listen to this guy. I'm probably going to disagree with a lot of what I hear, but I want to hear his perspective and what he says. And so I listened to the whole thing, and they went around and around the horn on stuff. And let me first say, when Joe Kent first resigned, we didn't talk about it much when it happened. We're kind of like, okay, this happened. But I said, I feel like this is a guy trying to get a book deal. I still think that's the case. Like, he's still on that vein. But after hearing him on the Sean Ryan podcast, I do think he's a believer. I do think he is against the Iran conflict, lock, stock, and barrel, 100%. And he's not faking anything. Because he sounds too convicted about it. But his argument, and Sean Ryan's not a fan of the Iran conflict either. Both of their arguments hinge on two things. One, we got in this as a proxy for Israel. Israel drug us into this. And number two, it's going to be a quagmire. And we can't let that happen. That's what I got from it. And so I'm like, guys, like, I don't agree with you on the Israel thing. And if this doesn't turn out to be a quagmire, what are you going to say then? Yeah. Like, if we are done in weeks from now and we've accomplished our goals, like, what's your argument at that point?
I think it just becomes a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, but it just becomes another footnote in history.
Yeah.
That's what it becomes. And I'm hoping that's what this is. But as I said earlier in the podcast, we've had so many generational things happen in our lifetime that it just feels like this is another one of those situations.
Yeah.
And so you ask the questions, the question on the run sheet, what does boots on the ground mean to you? We are not there.
Yeah.
We are not there.
I agree.
When I envision boots on the ground, I envision what I watched in 2003
Yep.
when we're taking Baghdad.
Yep.
That's when you watch, regardless of the accuracy of any military movie, when you're watching something like, what's this? American Sniper, where they're literally going building to building to building. That's boots on the ground.
That, and when we already have tens of thousands of troops on the ground and it's not working, and so we say we're going to do a surge and send 50,000 more.
Yeah.
That's, to me, boots on the ground. If we send a Marine Expeditionary Force, or if we stage forces in the Middle East, that's not boots on the ground to me.
Me neither. Did you happen to listen to Rogan and Theo Von?
I mean, recently, no.
Yeah, like this week.
No.
So Theo went on a long rant and he told Rogan, he's like, I'm sorry I'm preaching to you, man, but this is I just got to get this off my chest. And he talks about, the rich, we're fighting a rich man's war, and considering where he's from, like he's from southern Louisiana, he's from Louisiana, where the reality is that a lot of the ways that people get out of poverty is to join the military. That's truth.
Yeah.
Like you can say what you want. War is not a rich man's game, boots on the ground. It's just not, especially in American culture. It's like going to war is a poor man's battle. Mm-hmm. You're fighting a rich man's war, but the poor man is the one who goes. And I've seen that over and over again in my life. Like friends that we have that have gone, they did not come from wealthy families. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of them came back and were able to turn their personal lives around. And I know that story over and over and over again. I understand what Theo Von was saying. I get it. And I know that he speaks from that's his people, and I get what he's saying about that. I'm hopeful. I'm not there yet. I'm not standing on 2 feet. I'm hopeful that this is over before we get to May.
Yeah.
And that this is a footnote in history, and that we're trying to see that, but we're not at boots on the ground just yet. I mean, you also have to think we have like 30,000 troops in Germany right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that is part of it. Like we if you're below the age of 50 and you are fall into that category that we fall into, mm-hmm. of we had friends who fought and died in Iraq, fought and died in Afghanistan, and then we watched the exit strategy that Biden put us through and put people that we know
20 years later, though.
20 years later. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like 20 years later, we saw what happened, and you almost like forgot that it was even happening until you started to see the withdrawal and you saw the hurt mm-hmm. of those Marines and those Army guys, and that like they lost their best friend there. Mm-hmm. That's not what I want to see happen by any any fashion. And so, although I'm keeping a very close eye on this conflict, I don't think we're to that. I don't have enough knowledge about Israel and the effects of us dragging us into a proxy war like that. But I feel like if this was all Israel, then you would see countries like Saudi Arabia having very harsh words.
Yeah.
Egypt having very harsh words. Some of those countries, UAE, having very harsh words, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
but
they're also contributing to the fight.
They are.
And I don't think they would if this was just Israel.
I agree. And so that's where I'm optimistic. Now, I want to kind of flip a little bit and go over to NATO. He also came out and said, if NATO's not going to pull their work, we're going to just pull out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, we cannot just do that.
Yeah.
This is not how that works. Anybody who has done any research on NATO, we can't just leave that agreement. That's not like the nuclear agreement we had with Iran and some of those states that Obama put us in. This is generational treaties that we have, and like billions and if not trillions of dollars wrapped up into, if you remove yourself from NATO, that means that you're leaving those bases in Germany and Belgium and England and France and Spain. Like, you're not going to do that.
Right.
That's just Trump being Trump, and that's angry rhetoric.
He said it before.
And I don't like, that's one thing I don't like. Like, you can't, those are not the words that I want to hear.
Right. I agree.
I liked what Rubio said a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it briefly, how we are a child of England and we are a child of Europe. I can't remember exactly the phrasing.
Right.
We talked about it like in 58 or 59, that those alliances are important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also a big deal, and this has kind of been a blip on the radar because of the conflict, but the king and queen are coming to the United States.
End of April. Yeah.
And I think that is a show of like, that will be Trump smoothing a lot of that rhetoric over, kind of like the whole Jerry Jones deadlines make deals type situation. But heading into the midterms, and I know that war is politics and politics is war, you got to have this situation closed. At least not, it may not have to be completely closed, but you have to have our goals. This is what we're doing. This is when it's over. And that's what I'm hoping we're going to get tomorrow.
Yeah. Sean Ryan said a couple more things. He said we can't keep doing these regime change type of wars, and like for the way we used to do them or have done them in the past, I agree. But I don't think Trump's going to. I don't think this is a come in and like that type of. I think it's no. These people wanted to kill us, and were inventing methods and enriching uranium to be able to do that, and so we got rid of those people. Now, to you freedom fighters who are Iranians who've wanted to get rid of these people, now it's your turn to take over your country. And then they put up somebody else who's kind of in the same vein, we kill them. Put up somebody else who's kind of in the same vein, we kill them. So that's kind of, but we're not doing it in a way where we're trying to install the regime. We're just saying like, this regime doesn't work for us. We're getting rid of that regime. If you want to be a UAE, okay, if you want to be a Saudi Arabia, like you can be a Muslim-centric country in the Middle East and not hate America.
Yes.
Those exist. So if Iran wants to be one of those countries, that's what we're here, and that's what Trump, I believe, is trying to accomplish.
I just wish he'd point blank say that.
Yeah.
And he kind of has. He's kind of skirted around that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And maybe Hegseth, maybe I'm mixing up who has said what, but someone from the administration has said those exact words.
I think it was Hegseth whenever he was talking to the media and told the media that he said, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the American public right now because I don't care what you think." I think he said that like there can be countries, in the Middle East who are able to be allies with us and able to be friends with us and the other countries that are around them, and that's what we're going for. But
well, and you're seeing European countries push back against that as well because the conservative movement has hit those countries and they're closing their borders. And like they're saying, hey, these refugees that are coming in are not benefiting our country. I can't remember which one it was, France, Spain, somewhere in there, maybe Germany. It was in Central Europe, but they closed like, hey, no more of this. And it was like a very, very abrupt shift to the right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we see a shift, but we'll see.
Yeah. Again, one of the biggest news stories, if not the biggest, so we'll keep talking about it.
You know who we haven't talked about lately? Your boy, Jeffrey Epstein.
My boy. Man, we had like a solid 2 or 3 podcast string going there, and you had to bring it up.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about that lately,
No.
which is odd.
Well,
Where is
except for Pam Bondi getting fired. That's kind of the, the biggest.
Yeah, we didn't talk
Late-
about that at all today, did we?
No. I don't know who it's going to be.
Any opinions on that? No, none.
I don't think it was just about Epstein. But I'm glad, like, again, they talk about Trump saying Trump things. I'm glad he didn't come out and like eviscerate her. I'm glad he said, hey, she's a great friend. She did a good job. We just got to move on.
Well, he did the same thing.
That was a very nice Trump speak.
Yeah, and
he
he did the same thing for DHS.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Christy Nome.
Yeah, did the same thing. So I think that those, you just move on.
Yeah.
I did read earlier this week that he had already fired like 10 people in the first administration.
Yeah.
At this point, and this is only the second one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think
couple
good.
big ones, but it's only the second one. I think Ron DeSantis has a shot at AG. He's term limited.
Huh. Hadn't thought about that.
They don't like each other too much, but maybe not. But I don't know. We'll see.
Boy, that would be you got Mark Wayne Mullen. And
He talked about, I saw
Ron
him,
DeSantis.
I saw immediately, like they wanted Lee Zeldin, who's the EPA chief.
Yeah.
I saw that one. I haven't seen anyone say Ron DeSantis. That's just kind of I wonder if, like, to give him, because there's too many superstars right now. DeSantis doesn't have a chance at the primary for president.
No.
So it's almost like he's got to go somewhere else, and that would be a little spot for him.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know who it's going to be. AG is a big deal.
Those cabinet positions have become a much bigger deal than what I think that the framers intended them to be.
Mm.
And that office has expanded over the decades.
Yeah.
But it has to. Like it had to.
It's got to be somebody who can work with Kash Patel.
Yeah, I don't think she did work very well with Kash.
I think that was probably another issue. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Any big plans this week?
Not
The
really.
grind.
We're 2 weeks away from seeing Bruno. We'll have to report
I'm
back
still
on
mad
the
at you
pod.
about that. Still mad at you about that.
We'll have to report back on the pod how that goes, but I'm excited about that coming up. But that's not this weekend. That's next weekend. So
We got a big volleyball tournament next weekend.
you play a lot of indoor sports, but I got to tell you, on Saturday when I got all the push notifications that our games had been canceled, I was not sad about it. I kind of needed a day. I was like, oh, my kids want to go play, but
Well,
because it came a gully washer on Saturday.
we were supposed to play a doubleheader on Thursday, a doubleheader baseball game on Thursday, which I'm enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they rescheduled it for this week, which is our district track meet.
Oh, geez.
So I'm going to miss it. So I missed the first game. Now I'm going to miss game 2 and 3. Now he does play again on Thursday. So they have a doubleheader on Wednesday, and then he plays again on Thursday. So I'll make that one.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's crazy how we talked about a couple weeks ago about how the school system has to make an adjustment in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
So we have STAR testing this week, but we also have like every single major program that's extracurricular over the next 2 weeks has something going on.
Yeah.
Like every single athletics, band, CTE,
that time of year.
robotics, everything.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating as an in-room, like as a classroom teacher. It's like, when am I going to see my kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
'Cause you have
like,
a
I
test
get
coming
it.
up.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A week from, well, I guess not even 2 weeks, a week from Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, my kids are ready. Now I just pray to God they remember it all. And then after that, summer's right around the corner. This
Yep.
is the last big break before we get to summer, which I'm ready for summer in the way I like to see I like to be around my family and all that kind of stuff and travel and do all the fun stuff we do all summer. But my classes this year have been great.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those years where you're like, I really don't want this year to end because my classes have been so good.
Good kids.
Yeah, good kids. Like, they listen, they do what you're asked, they do what you ask them to do. The lectures have gone really well because they participate, they ask intelligent questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have no complaints about my classes this year. Just because, and you get those I don't even have a class period where I'm like, oh, I got to get through this period. Just 45 minutes, thank God.
Not
But
even one.
I don't even have one of those this year, which is,
man.
I mean, that's a blessing. And maybe it was just the good Lord knew I needed a good year. And so he just blessed me with good kids and good classes. But that maybe means next year that all
Get
6
paid
of my
back.
classes are going to be, you know,
Oh,
but
man.
we'll see. I'm enjoying this year. I've had a great year of just the education system has blessed me this year, because in every aspect of the word blessing in terms of school, like my kids are great, coworkers are great, had a good year in athletics. You know, I'm going to hopefully have a kid break. I know we don't talk a ton of sports, but like I'm going to have one of my distance runners possibly break 6 this week. First time that I've ever personally coached a kid that's going to break 6 in the mile, and a girl break 6 in the mile. I know that's not like super fast. I have a buddy that he had 2 kids break 5:30 last week. So I think I'm going to have a freshman girl break it this year. That's not even close to the school record. Like school record's like 5:35, but it's a big deal for a freshman to break 6.
That's awesome.
As long as everybody stays healthy up until Wednesday and conditions are okay. Race is going to be fast though. Like there's a girl in our district that runs a 5:15.
Aren't they supposed to be fast?
Yeah,
I'm just
we're
joking.
peaking. But I mean, like I'm saying, like other districts in our area that are our size, like if you run a 6, you run a 6:05, you're advancing. In our district, you won't do that.
Okay.
We have a faster district in that race. Like if you go to other races, it's not quite that fast. We'll have a girl run a 5:15, I think. Not us, but someone in our district. And so if we can get that sub 6, we should have maybe 1 or 2 advance to area in that race. So I'm excited to watch that. I haven't coached a position. Like I was the head track coach, and we had girls advance, but not the ones that I coached.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like in track, you have multiple coaches on the staff, and they're responsible for different parts. And so I've always been responsible for the lateral jumps and the distance kids. And I think I'm going to have one advance this year.
Sweet.
We'll see. So I'll update that later. But yeah, just kind of the normal everyday life, loving it, raising kids. It's hard, dude. Raising kids is hard. I'm not sure which is the hardest phase though. I think about that a lot. Like as you're raising kids, you go through different phases and you're like, which one is the hardest? Because we have friends that are
all of them.
We have friends, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Like we have friends that are having kids.
Yeah.
Like
I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
I'm glad, me too. But then I also have friends that are like empty nesters.
Yeah.
So so I guess it's just kind of the phase of life we're in. But I'm like, I'm not envious of
Nope.
the empty nesters, because I still want my kids at home. But I'm also not envious of that newborn.
Yeah, I'm really not envious of the people having babies right now.
I have a friend that just had their 5th baby.
Yeah.
And they have a freshman, and their youngest before the newborn was 5.
Okay.
And this was not intentional.
Oh man.
I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yay. Yay, diapers.
So what he was like, "Oh man." I was like, "Well, because I went to him and I was like, hey man, like they want to buy." He's a pretty private guy, and I was like, "Hey, the school wants to buy you diapers." He was like, "No." I was like, "I know, but they know you and I are friends, so they're asking what diapers y'all buy." He was like, "I'd rather y'all just get us an Amazon gift card." I was like, "Got you down."
Yep.
But I was like, man, I walked in the other day and he just looked exhausted. He's our age. And I was like, "Are you okay?" He was like, "Man, I forgot." I was like, "Yeah, I bet you won't forget anymore."
Won't forget again.
Have a great week, man.
See ya.